Chosen ones, your journey has never been about conformity. Your essence carries a divine purpose that defies the rules of this world. For this reason, others often find themselves drawn to your light, yet unable to understand it. They seek to mold you, control you, and dim the brilliance that God has placed within you. But what they fail to realize is that you are protected, empowered, and guided by a higher authority. The attempts to control chosen ones are not new. From ancient scriptures to modern-day testimonies, history reveals this as a recurring theme. People often misunderstand what they can't dominate. This reality becomes a mirror, reflecting their fears, insecurities, and inability to accept what they can't comprehend. But there's a profound truth. No weapon formed against you can prosper. You stand as a living testament to the Word of God, which declares in Isaiah 54:17, "No weapon that is fashioned against you shall succeed, and you shall refute every tongue that rises against you in judgment." Your strength doesn't come from mere resilience, but from the divine force working within and around you. As we explore the shocking reactions people face when they try to control chosen ones, you'll see how these attempts reveal more about them than about you. Their efforts, rooted in earthly tactics, are no match for the spiritual foundation that sustains you. Let's dive into this reality together, uncovering the layers of truth that not only empower you, but also expose the futility of control in the face of divine purpose. There's an undeniable irony in the attempts of others to control chosen ones. Their plans often backfire spectacularly. What begins as a calculated effort to suppress you ends up exposing their own weaknesses. This reaction isn't coincidental, but rather a reflection of the spiritual laws in play. At the core of this backfire effect is an underestimation of your connection to the divine. People assume that their strategies, whether manipulation, intimidation, or deceit, will work because they rely on worldly wisdom. But chosen ones operate on a higher frequency. Your intuition is sharpened by divine guidance, often revealing their intentions before they even act. One of the most common ways plans backfire is through exposure. For instance, someone might try to manipulate you into a corner, only to find themselves tangled in their own web of lies. In attempting to control you, they unintentionally reveal their own vulnerabilities. This phenomenon aligns with Proverbs 26:27. Whoever digs a pit will fall into it. If someone rolls a stone, it will roll back on them. Another way this plays out is through the loss of influence. Controllers often rely on maintaining an image of power, but when their attempts to dominate fail, they lose credibility. Witnesses to these events begin to question their authority, leaving them isolated and exposed. This isolation isn't just social, it's also spiritual. Their energy is drained because they've wasted it on fruitless efforts against someone who is spiritually fortified. The backfire effect isn't limited to public exposure. On a deeper level, it disrupts the controller's inner peace. They may begin to experience sleepless nights, anxiety, or even a sense of paranoia. Why? Because the spiritual forces that protect you are also working to ensure that justice is served. They feel the weight of their actions, even if they can't articulate why. For you, this backfire effect is both a shield and a lesson. It reminds you of the importance of maintaining your alignment with God. It's not your job to retaliate or engage in their tactics. Instead, your role is to stand firm, knowing that divine justice is at work. But what happens when they persist, unwilling to accept that their efforts are futile? How does the dynamic shift when their determination clashes with spiritual resistance? One of the most baffling experiences for those who try to control chosen ones is the unseen shield that surrounds you. This divine protection is not visible to the naked eye, but its effects are undeniable. No matter how elaborate their schemes, something always seems to intervene. Plans unravel, circumstances shift, and the chosen remain standing. This shield isn't just luck or coincidence. It's the hand of God at work. The Bible speaks of this divine safeguarding in Psalm 91:4. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. Those who attempt to dominate chosen ones often find themselves frustrated, unable to understand why their efforts fail at every turn. Consider the story of Daniel in the lion's den. Those who sought to control and destroy him were confident in their plans. They manipulated the system and believed their power was absolute. Yet, when Daniel was thrown into the den, the lions didn't harm him. This miraculous protection wasn't just for Daniel's sake. It served as a demonstration of God's power to everyone around him. In today's world, the divine shield manifests in many ways. Sometimes it's through sudden changes in circumstances. Perhaps the person trying to harm you is unexpectedly removed from a position of influence. Other times, it's through unexplainable peace and clarity that guide you away from dangerous situations. The most perplexing aspect of this protection is its subtlety. Controllers can't put their finger on what's happening. They might dismiss it as luck or coincidence, but deep down, they sense there's something greater at play. And that realization can be deeply unsettling. This divine shield isn't just about physical safety. It also extends to your spirit and mind. It preserves your peace, keeping you grounded even when external forces try to create chaos. While controllers become entangled in frustration, you remain calm, knowing that your protection comes from above. But what happens when their confusion turns to resentment? How does their frustration escalate when they realize their tactics are no match for divine power? Attempts to control chosen ones often leave the controllers emotionally drained. What starts as a confident effort to manipulate or dominate spirals into chaos within their own hearts and minds. The chosen carry a spiritual resilience that disrupts the plans of those who seek to impose their will. This resistance doesn't just block their efforts, it mirrors their own inner turmoil back at them. Control, at its core, is rooted in fear and insecurity. People who try to control others often do so because they lack peace within themselves. When they encounter chosen ones whose strength lies in divine alignment, it creates a stark contrast. Instead of achieving dominance, they find themselves wrestling with their own inadequacies. This emotional chaos begins subtly. Controllers may notice that their plans require more effort than anticipated. Small inconveniences pile up, and their frustration grows. Over time, this frustration evolves into obsession. They become consumed with trying to force an outcome, unaware that the more they push, the more they lose control of themselves. Yeshua's teachings shine a light on this dynamic. In Matthew 6:22-23, he says, "The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eyes are unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness." Controllers operate from a place of unhealthy vision. Their fixation on power blinds them to the light within the chosen. This emotional toll isn't just mental, it can manifest physically as well. Anxiety, sleeplessness, and even physical ailments can arise when someone spends too much energy fighting against spiritual resistance. The chosen remain unaffected, shielded by God's peace, while the controller spirals deeper into unrest. Ironically, the emotional chaos often serves as a wake-up call. Some controllers begin to recognize the futility of their actions and seek answers. This moment of realization can be a turning point, offering them an opportunity to reflect on their actions and turn toward a higher purpose. But not everyone takes that path. For those who continue to resist, their emotional turmoil only deepens. How does this inner chaos start to manifest outwardly, impacting their relationships and reputation? Every chosen one carries an inner strength that can't be tamed, a spirit guided by divine truth. This unstoppable spirit is not something cultivated by personal effort alone. It's a gift from God, rooted in Yeshua's teachings and example. When people try to control chosen ones, they encounter this divine force, a quiet yet powerful resistance that disrupts their plans. Yeshua's life serves as the ultimate illustration of this truth. In the Gospels, he faced relentless attempts to control him, from the Pharisees' traps to Pilate's questioning, yet he remained unshaken. His wisdom, rooted in God's purpose, confounded those who sought to manipulate him. As he declared in John 10:18, "No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord." This statement encapsulates the essence of spiritual authority, the freedom to act in alignment with God's will, unbound by external forces. For modern-day chosen ones, this same spirit is alive within you. Those who attempt to control you may sense this, even if they don't fully understand it. They find themselves met with a calm assurance that challenges their efforts. This isn't arrogance, it's the quiet confidence that comes from walking in divine purpose. Interestingly, this resistance isn't always loud or confrontational. Sometimes it's the subtle ways you respond or don't respond that leave them unsettled. A refusal to engage in petty arguments, a calm demeanor in the face of provocation, or even a kind word to someone who seeks to harm you speaks volumes. These actions reflect Yeshua's teachings, disrupting the controller's narrative and planting seeds of doubt in their tactics. But this divine guidance does more than just disrupt. It also empowers you to see beyond their attempts, understanding the deeper reasons behind their actions. Yeshua's wisdom often revealed the hearts of those who opposed him. In the same way, you are granted discernment, recognizing the fear or insecurity driving their need for control. This awareness allows you to respond with grace rather than retaliation, turning their attempts into opportunities for growth, both for you and, potentially, for them. Yet the question remains: what happens when their frustration grows and they decide to double down on their efforts? Manipulation thrives in secrecy, but chosen ones have a way of shining light into the darkness. One of the most shocking reactions controllers face is the fear of exposure. Their efforts to manipulate or dominate are often cloaked in deceit, but truth has a way of surfacing when chosen ones are involved. The reason for this lies in your alignment with divine truth. Chosen ones don't just carry light, they amplify it. This illumination makes it difficult for manipulation to take root. Lies unravel, hidden motives are revealed, and those who seek to control find themselves exposed. This reaction isn't just external, it's deeply personal. The controller's fear stems from an inner recognition that their actions are unsustainable in the presence of truth. Proverbs 12:19 declares, "Truthful lips endure forever, but a lying tongue lasts only a moment." This principle is evident in the way chosen ones disrupt deceit. Whether through direct confrontation or simply by living authentically, your presence challenges falsehoods. Controllers often find themselves caught in their own contradictions, unable to maintain the facade they've carefully constructed. This exposure doesn't always happen immediately. Sometimes it unfolds gradually, as small cracks in their narrative begin to appear. Perhaps others start to question their actions, or circumstances shift in ways they can't control. Either way, the result is the same. Their manipulation loses its power, and the truth becomes undeniable. For the chosen, this process is both liberating and humbling. It's a reminder that your role isn't to force exposure, but to remain faithful to God's purpose. The light you carry isn't of your own making. It's a reflection of the divine. When you walk in integrity, you allow that light to do the work, bringing clarity where there was once confusion. Controllers, however, don't always accept this exposure gracefully. For some, it becomes a turning point, leading to repentance or self-reflection. For others, it deepens their frustration, pushing them to escalate their efforts. How does their fear of exposure manifest in the next stage of their attempts? When people try to control chosen ones, they're not just dealing with a person. They're contending with the spiritual forces surrounding and supporting you. This dynamic creates a form of spiritual pushback that they can't explain or contain. It's not aggression or defiance on your part. It's the power of God's presence working in ways that disrupt their plans. This pushback often starts subtly. They might feel uneasy around you or notice that their attempts to dominate seem to fizzle out before gaining traction. What they're experiencing is the clash between their intentions and the divine energy that surrounds you. This clash can create tension, confusion, or even fear, leaving them unsure of how to proceed. Ephesians 6:12 reminds us, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." Controllers are often unaware that their attempts to manipulate chosen ones are part of a larger spiritual battle. They're operating from a place of human understanding, while the chosen are supported by forces they can't perceive or influence. One common manifestation of this pushback is a sense of exhaustion on their part. Controllers might find themselves feeling drained, even if their actions are subtle. This isn't just mental or emotional fatigue, it's spiritual resistance. Every attempt to control you takes more effort than expected, leaving them depleted and disoriented. Another aspect of spiritual pushback is the way circumstances shift unexpectedly. Plans that seemed foolproof fall apart without warning. People they counted on for support withdraw or turn against them. These shifts aren't random. They're a reflection of God's hand redirecting the situation. For the chosen, these moments serve as confirmation that you are protected, even when the details of the battle aren't visible to you. This pushback can also provoke a reaction. Controllers may become more aggressive, attempting to force their will in response to the resistance they feel. But the harder they push, the more the spiritual forces push back. This escalation often leads to frustration and desperation, exposing their true intentions to those around them. What happens, though, when this resistance leads them to question their motives? Can spiritual pushback become the catalyst for transformation, or does it drive them deeper into their need for control? In their efforts to control chosen ones, people often come face to face with a truth they didn't anticipate: the power of Yeshua's teachings in your life. This revelation is not something you force upon them. It emerges naturally as they encounter the unwavering faith and spiritual resilience that defines you. Yeshua's words have a way of piercing through the noise of manipulation and deceit. In John 8:32, he declares, "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." For chosen ones, this truth is not just intellectual, it's deeply spiritual, shaping every aspect of your life. Those who try to dominate you often find themselves drawn to this truth, even as they resist it. One of the most profound ways this revelation manifests is through your unshakable faith. Controllers expect resistance, but they rarely anticipate the depth of your trust in God. This faith isn't loud or boastful, it's quiet, steady, and immovable. It serves as a reminder that your strength doesn't come from yourself, but from the divine power at work within you. This dynamic often creates a mirror effect. As they witness your faith, they are forced to confront the absence of faith in their own lives. For some, this can be a moment of transformation. They begin to question their motives, their actions, and the emptiness that drives their need for control. For others, it becomes a source of frustration, amplifying their efforts to dominate in an attempt to regain a sense of power. The revelation of Yeshua's presence in your life also has a way of shifting the atmosphere around you. Words spoken in love and truth have the power to disarm even the most determined controllers. This disarming effect is not about winning a battle, but about revealing a greater reality, the reality of God's kingdom. However, not everyone is ready to accept this truth. For some, it feels like a threat, challenging the very foundation of their worldview. How does this revelation impact their actions moving forward? Will they soften and seek understanding, or will they double down on their resistance, unable to let go of their need for control? Control thrives on authority, whether perceived or real. But when people try to control chosen ones, they often find their authority slipping through their fingers. This loss of authority isn't about a shift in status or power dynamics alone. It's about the spiritual reality that chosen ones operate under God's sovereignty, not human constraints. What confounds controllers is the way this loss happens. It's not through defiance or rebellion on your part, but through the quiet, steady erosion of their influence. They begin to notice that their words carry less weight, their actions yield diminishing results, and their presence no longer commands the respect or obedience they're used to. This dynamic is beautifully captured in Isaiah 40:31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Your unwavering connection to God grants you a resilience and strength that make worldly authority pale in comparison. No matter how much pressure is applied, chosen ones rise above, unshaken by attempts to dominate or diminish them. One way controllers lose authority is through the exposure of their true intentions. Their manipulation, deceit, or attempts at dominance often come to light, eroding the trust and respect they may have once held. Witnesses to these actions begin to question their integrity, further diminishing their influence. For chosen ones, this process isn't about vindication, it's about divine justice at work. Another factor contributing to their loss of authority is their growing frustration and desperation. The more they try to assert control, the more their actions reveal their insecurity. People around them start to see through their facade, recognizing the fear and inadequacy driving their behavior. Meanwhile, chosen ones remain grounded, their authority rooted not in external validation, but in the quiet confidence of knowing they are walking in God's purpose. This shift in authority also extends to the spiritual realm. Controllers may experience a growing sense of unease or powerlessness as their attempts to dominate clash with the divine forces protecting you. They realize, consciously or not, that they are battling something far greater than themselves, a realization that often leads to confusion and withdrawal. Yet, some may not accept this loss gracefully. How does their desperation to reclaim authority manifest, and what impact does it have on their actions moving forward? There comes a point in every attempt to control chosen ones when God steps in and declares, "Enough." This moment of divine justice is often startling, both for the controllers and for those witnessing it. What begins as a slow unraveling of their plans culminates in a powerful and undeniable demonstration of God's sovereignty. Divine justice doesn't always arrive in dramatic fashion, but its effects are unmistakable. Controllers may experience the sudden collapse of their plans, the loss of their influence, or even personal setbacks that force them to pause and reflect. These events aren't random. They are a response to the spiritual laws at work, as described in Galatians 6:7. Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. One of the ways divine justice manifests is through the redirection of their energy. Controllers often pour significant effort into their schemes, believing they will achieve a specific outcome. But when God says enough, their efforts become fruitless. Doors that once opened for them close abruptly, allies withdraw their support, and circumstances shift in ways they can't explain or control. This justice isn't limited to external consequences. It also operates on a spiritual level. Controllers may experience a profound sense of conviction, feeling the weight of their actions in a way they never have before. For some, this is a wake-up call, a chance to turn away from their destructive behavior and seek redemption. For others, it's a humbling reminder of their limitations, forcing them to confront the futility of their attempts to challenge divine order. For the chosen, witnessing divine justice is both humbling and empowering. It reaffirms that your protection and purpose are not contingent on human actions, but are secured by God's will. This understanding allows you to release any desire for retaliation or revenge, trusting that justice is in God's hands. Yet, divine justice often leaves an open question. How will controllers respond to this reckoning? Will they embrace the opportunity to change, or will they resist, seeking new ways to regain control? When chosen ones break free from attempts to control them, the impact extends far beyond the immediate situation. This freedom sets off a ripple effect, touching lives and altering dynamics in ways that often go unnoticed at first. The controllers, the chosen ones, and even the observers are all changed by this unfolding process. For the controllers, the ripple effect begins with the realization that their efforts have failed. This recognition can bring about two responses: reflection or resistance. Some may begin to question their motives, recognizing that their need for control was rooted in insecurity or fear. For these individuals, witnessing your freedom can serve as a catalyst for personal growth and transformation. They may start to let go of their controlling tendencies, seeking healthier ways to interact with others. For others, however, this failure deepens their frustration. They may become fixated on finding new ways to assert control, unaware that their persistence only accelerates their own unraveling. Their inability to dominate chosen ones serves as a mirror, reflecting their limitations and exposing the futility of their efforts. For the chosen, the ripple effect is liberating. Breaking free from control not only restores your autonomy, but also strengthens your connection to God. Each victory becomes a reminder of your purpose, reaffirming your role as a light in the darkness. As Jesus said in Matthew 5:14, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden." Your freedom is a testament to God's power and faithfulness, inspiring others who are trapped in similar situations to seek their own liberation. The ripple effect also impacts the community around you. Observers who witness your journey often gain a new perspective on power dynamics and spiritual resilience. Some may be encouraged by your example, realizing that they too can break free from controlling influences. Others may begin to question the systems or relationships that enable control, seeking to create environments that foster freedom and growth. On a spiritual level, the ripple effect transcends human understanding. The freedom of chosen ones creates a shift in the spiritual atmosphere, disrupting patterns of manipulation and opening pathways for divine intervention. This shift doesn't just affect the immediate situation, it sets the stage for broader transformations, creating opportunities for God's purpose to unfold in unexpected ways. But this freedom is not without its challenges. As you move forward, new opportunities and obstacles will arise, requiring you to stay grounded in faith and purpose. How will you navigate this next phase, ensuring that your freedom continues to inspire and transform the world around you?
Chosen ones, if you enjoy our videos and would like to support our channel, feel free to buy us a coffee. The link will be in the description below. Thanks for watching and have a blessed day.